The streets have been talking non-stop, and child, the receipts they're pulling out are making everyone's jaws drop to the floor. You know how there's always been whispers and speculation about whether Jay Z and RiRi had something going on back in the day? Well, with all this new dirt coming up about Jay, people are digging through the archives and bringing out all the receipts. And let me tell you about this one particular story that's got everyone clutching their pearls. Apparently, there was this party where Rihanna made Queen Bey cry her eyes out. When I tell you it was messy, honey, that's an understatement. So get yourself settled in nice and cozy because we're about to break down everything that supposedly went down between Rihanna and Jay Z, and trust me, you'll need to be sitting down for this tea. Now, let's start from the very beginning, darling. As we all know, Beyonce was already the reigning queen of the industry when young Rihanna burst onto the scene. After RiRi's hit Pon de Replay took over the airwaves, she got signed to Jay Z's record label. Of course, this meant our girl RiRi was going to be around Beyonce quite a bit, and initially she was all about singing B's praises like everybody else.
A big fan of Beyonce.
I love her.
And so has she given you any kind of advice or...
Yeah, she actually wrote me this cute little letter and she signed it with her autograph. It was so cute. When I first met her, and she wrote, she was telling me just let loose when you perform and just have fun and be in control.
But Chile, let me spill some tea that most people don't even know about. Beyonce actually played a part in getting Rihanna more attention from the label, but honey, it came at the expense of another talented artist, Miss Tyra Mari. And this isn't just gossip. This tea comes straight from L.A. Reid's memoir, Sing to Me. According to L.A. Reid's book, and y'all know he doesn't hold back, he first spotted Rihanna just standing in the hallway one day. He didn't even know she could sing. She was just this gorgeous young thing standing outside somebody's office. But Jay Z? Oh, he had already heard RiRi's voice and was pushing hard to get her signed to the label. Now, listen to this part carefully because it's where things start getting interesting. L.A. Reid wrote, and I'm quoting directly here, "After signing Rihanna, Jay Z and his team did the A&R for her first album, and I had nothing to do with it. But here's the gag. They actually signed two girls at the same time, Rihanna and Tyra Mari. And Chile, this is where it gets juicy. After watching both girls perform, L.A. Reid was actually more impressed with Tyra Mari. He was ready to make her the star. But then something happened that changed everything. Beyonce gave him this look and told him to pick Rihanna instead. Can you believe it? Now, the word on the street was that Beyonce chose Rihanna because she didn't see her as competition. Apparently, B felt threatened by Tyra Mari's talent and basically orchestrated her sabotage. This was especially shocking since Jay had already dubbed Tyra the Princess of the Rock. But honey, talk about a plot twist. Rihanna ended up becoming not just amazing, but an even bigger threat to Beyonce. And I'm not just talking about music, Chile. I'm talking about her relationship with Jay Z too. Speaking of threats, let me tell you about this party situation that's got everybody's tongues wagging. Picture this scene, honey. Beyonce arrives at this high-profile party all by herself, looking gorgeous as always. Then a few moments later, who should walk in but Jay Z? With Rihanna on his arm, and they weren't just walking in together, Chile. They were looking all lovey-dovey like they were on a date. Now, according to what I've heard from reliable sources, when Beyonce saw them together, she completely broke down. We're talking uncontrollable sobbing, hyperventilating, the whole 9 yards. And here's what makes it even more scandalous. Jay Z didn't pay her any attention. It's like he couldn't care less that his woman was having a breakdown right there in public. He and Rihanna just kept on partying and having a good time while poor Solange had to comfort her sister. Child, if Jay Z could embarrass Beyonce like this in public, can you just imagine what might have been going on behind closed doors? This just proves what people have been saying all along, that Jay Z has always had some kind of control over Beyonce. Actually, a lot of control because nobody can understand why she stayed after all this drama. But wait, because there's more tea to spill about this Rihanna situation. In the last few weeks, people have been revisiting this biography called Becoming Beyonce by J. Randy Taraborelli from 2015. According to this book, and this is explosive, the Carters actually separated for an entire year in 2005. And guess what timing this was? It just happened to coincide with when Jay was scouting Rihanna, which sparked all those affair rumors. Randy spilled even more tea when he talked to Entertainment Tonight, saying, Beyonce didn't know what to make of this, and it actually ended up breaking them up for a time. They spent maybe a year apart from each other because Beyonce just wasn't sure what to make of the situation with Rihanna. Can you believe the drama? Now, when things started getting really messy and these affair rumors were spreading faster than wildfire, Rihanna's former publicist Jonathan tried to do damage control. He came out saying they made up the rumor as a PR stunt to help promote Ponda Replay. In an email, he wrote that it was reckless and he was just throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what would stick. But Chile, here's where it gets interesting. Knowing Jay Z's reputation, many people think he might have persuaded the publicist to take the fall and claim responsibility for starting the rumor. Plus, there were so many other receipts suggesting something was actually going on between Jay and RiRi. And speaking of the publicist, Jonathan's phone has been blowing up recently since all these Jay Z stories started making rounds again. He posted on Instagram saying he was mentioned in some explosive viral documentary by Trap La Ross that got featured on Academics. Even Jaguar Wright has been talking about this controversial situation. But hold on to your wigs because this next part is wild. Jonathan revealed that he was stopped by federal agents who were keeping tabs on Jay Z ever since that incident with Lance Rivera. According to Jonathan, one day these unmarked law enforcement cars stopped him, and these intimidating individuals introduced themselves as part of a federal task force. Chile, they took him to this makeshift interrogation room, and what they told him next will have your jaw on the floor. The feds said they were investigating Jay Z for allegedly engaging in inappropriate activities with Rihanna when she wasn't even 18 yet. They mentioned something about illegally transporting her across international borders, and apparently the feds said she wasn't the only one. There were many others. Now, if that wasn't shocking enough, let me tell you about how Jay Z allegedly played a part in Chris Brown and Rihanna's breakup. You know the story about what happened in that Lamborghini the night before the 2009 Grammys? Well, Chile, there might be more to that story than what we've been told. The official version was that they were in the car when Rihanna confronted Chris about being with another woman. Things got heated, they started fighting, and Rihanna ended up hurt. According to Chris's version, Rihanna grabbed his crotch while trying to get his phone, and things escalated from there. He said Rihanna got out of the car screaming, "Help, he's trying to unalive me," and he was like, "Stop, we gonna get in trouble." But Chile, there's another version of events that's been circulating. According to this version, Chris Brown got mad after finding out Rihanna had given him an STD that she allegedly got from Jay Z. When Chris confronted Rihanna about her behavior, she followed him to the Lamborghini and started fighting him for embarrassing her. And get this, supposedly Jay Z forced Chris to tell a different version of the story because he didn't want his name mixed up in all this drama.
Like, people don't understand what happened that night. And that's because Jay Z worked so hard to change the narrative of that night. Now, Rihanna was only 14, 15 when he started her and signed to the death jail. It's clear to say that the herpes that she had came from the person she had been most involved with, and that was Sean Carter. So here it is. Chris Brown has his first herpes outbreak from his celebrity girlfriend who he was set up with, and it was supposed to be this and it was supposed to be that, and he was there so people wouldn't pay attention to the fact that she was Jay Z.
Child, did y'all hear Jaguar spilling that scalding hot tea? Now, I can't say for certain if that particular story is true, but what I can tell you is that there has been more than enough said about this alleged affair between Jay Z and Rihanna. So when people heard about Jay Z arriving at that party with Rihanna and watching Beyonce sob her heart out, nobody was really that surprised. But here's what's really got people scratching their heads: how Rihanna seemed to be a willing participant in all this drama, like she was just perfectly fine with embarrassing Beyonce like that. Maybe this is the real reason why we've never seen these two queens collaborate on anything. The streets are talking, honey, and they're saying a lot. People can't help but side-eye how Jay Z seems to keep getting away with this type of behavior, and how these young artists keep getting caught up in his web of drama. The way some of these stories are interconnected is making people look at everything differently now. And that's the full tea, honey. From label drama to party scandals, from federal investigations to forced cover-ups, this story has more layers than a wedding cake. What do y'all think about all this drama resurfacing? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because this tea is too hot to handle alone. And remember, where there's smoke, there's usually fire. And Chile, there's been smoke around this situation for years.